Okay, so let me give you guys a quick overview as to what's going on in the world right now. There is a war that is being waged on everybody on planet Earth by Israel. Okay, and the reason why they're doing that is because they are religious fanatics. It's a country full of religious fanatics, or a state. Actually, it's not really a country. They shouldn't be a country anyways. But yeah, they believe that they are chosen, and they believe that everybody else is just a goy, which is basically like the N word for anybody who's not one of them. And you know, they are just waging war on everybody. You're either with them or you're against them. You're either with them or you're an anti-Semite, and they're going to find a way to use Epstein files or the transgressions of the politicians of other countries to force them to sanction people, force them to punish their enemies because they can't fight their own battles because they pick so many battles that they can't possibly fight them all. So you have this demonic country that is doing this to the whole entire world, basically raping the governments and disenfranchising the people from their own governments in every country all around the world that they can. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on. And they call everybody who goes against them a terrorist or an anti-Semite. They they kill people. They're the most violent country on earth. They're currently taking over what, like 33% of Lebanon. You look at the map, they're taking it all the way to the Litani River. Um, there's a ceasefire. Nobody was attacking them. Lebanon stopped attacking them. Everybody stopped attacking them. But they're like, no, they weren't included, and they bombed like 100 bombs or something in 10 minutes. And they did like their worst attack yet on them, and they're like bombing metropolitan areas. Like it's crazy. It's like a 9/11 every day with those people. um so you know, that's what's going on in the world, pretty much. uh every war is because of those people. Like I think in my lifetime, like I look back on every single war. Yeah, pretty much every one of them, except maybe Vietnam, but somehow I could probably link it back to them because every war is because of them. You know, even going back to World War II, it was because of them. If you really think about it, like why were we there? Who were we there to save? Why did they need saving? Why did they even need saving? Why do these people always need to be saved? Like 109 times they've been kicked out of countries, so they needed to be saved 109 times. Seems like there's a trend going on that people ought to just say, hey, we're not going to save you anymore because you keep putting yourself in these circumstances, you know? And, anyways, that's what's going on in the world. And I think that what everybody needs to do is to start embracing their titles that they use on us. Call me an anti-Semite. That's fine. That's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll happily take it, because if I'm not being called that, then I'm not doing my job and being a good person on planet Earth, working to help make the place better. Because anybody who does that is an anti-Semite. So I need to be one of those, whatever that is. And are they even Semites? Isn't there like 12 or 13 tribes of Israel? Like they're just one of them. Like what are the Palestinians? Are they Semites? Yeah, I think they are. And I think the most anti-Semitic people on planet Earth are the ones who are genociding those people. And all you have to do to know the content of their character is to look up all of their books, their Talmud, their Torah, not the Torah, their Talmud and the Kabbalah. And all you have to do is what my favorite thing to do, what really changed my mind about them, was watching the rabbis lecture. Like when you hear the rabbi's lecture, you have to understand that the religion is the base of any people. So when you hear their religious leaders saying terrible things, I mean absolutely terrible things, they said things like we have to keep the Christians fighting with the Muslims, because if we don't, we're in big trouble, because they're gonna talk together and they're gonna figure out that we're the root cause of everything, and they're gonna turn on us. So they have to keep us fighting each other, and they wish us great success in killing each other. That's what their rabbis are literally saying. Look it up. I'm not playing. Like the videos are out there. They're circulating everywhere. The videos also say that they are going to have a great victory over everyone, and they're going to kill so many people, like, and reduce the population of the earth, and and then everybody who's left over is going to idolize them and worship them. And they say that Jesus was a Jew, and we only worship one Jew, but we should worship all Jews. And that's like crazy. Like they literally like want us to worship all of them. They do not assimilate. And if they do, it's just so that they can get into our politics, get into our school systems, get into every little place where they can have some kind of effect. They're in the school system, they're in the school boards, they're in the White House, they're in the liberal movements, they're in the conservative movements, and they have these. They seem like they're opposing each other, but they have a synergistic way that they work together. For instance, the Democrat people will open up the borders and let a whole bunch of people come in so that they can water down what it means to be an American, because America is not just a geographical location; it's the people who inhabit the place. So and then on the right wing side, what they'll do is they'll do more wars, and they'll create more refugees, and they'll create all these bad situations that make all of their enemies want to flee their lands. And so they're basically sending their enemies to all the Western countries. So they're crushing the only people who could really oppose them, because we are the only ones who have the religious background of Christianity that would oppose them in that way. And so what they're doing is the liberals and the conservatives amongst them have this synergistic way of dismantling us as a people. And that's another thing that you can listen to with their rabbis giving their lectures. They have a plan for that. They want to water all people down. They want to make it so anybody who could oppose them, they're promoting people to mix their culture so much that they become atomized. And they have a word for it. They call it Yehidim. Yehidim. I think it's spelled Yichiddim. Yeah. And what that means is a person who has so many cultures in their background, so mixed up, that they don't have an identity anymore. Like, and if you take the identity of people away, then they will never have unity, because you will have men fighting women, gay versus straight, black versus white. All of these things will just be, everybody's going to be fighting everyone. So you'll look at like the football teams, and they'll have gay male cheerleaders, and the basketball teams, and nobody can say what they want. These famous players who make millions of dollars can't have an opinion, because if they do about anything, they're going to get kicked off the team. Everybody gets sanctioned, and then you're like, damn, who owns that team? And you're like, you look up the team owner, and it's one of them, and you can just totally see how they have bought these crucial things, and then you see like all these patriotic movements at the basketball games and the football games, where they bring the flag out, and the military's there, and then you find out that that's all a paid for scheme to promote the military so that the American citizens will sign up and then go fight and die for Israel, pretty much, because you're not fighting or dying for this country. You know, you're not. Iran is like more of an ally than they are an enemy to our people. You know, because if they get what they want, they'll just stop being attacked, and they'll just have, you know, their sovereignty, and if they get what they want, that's good for America too, because peace is always good for everyone, you know, and they've never attacked anybody who didn't have it coming, as far as I'm concerned. So to me, Iran is our greatest ally, and I really hope that they understand that this ceasefire is no good for them. It's no good for them. They need to keep going. They need to keep attacking, because all they're doing is allowing Israel to continue their genocide on the next country, which is currently Lebanon. Right now, they're genociding the hell out of Lebanon, and it's never going to stop, because they have the Greater Israel project, where they want to make their state way bigger, and they're going to have to take over Egypt. They're going to have to take over parts of Saudi Arabia. They're going to have to take over parts of Lebanon, parts of all these different places. Look up the Greater Israel patch. It's on all the IDF uniforms, and it's basically their goal. The Israeli flag is basically their goal, because you have the Star of Remphan in the middle of it, which is a demon that they don't discuss, because the Star of David doesn't exist in any kind of literature. It just doesn't exist. It's not out there. That's the Star of Remphan, and then you have the blue lines. What those represent is the two bodies of water that they want to own from, and that's the borders of the Greater Israel project, which is something like the Nile River on one side, and I think it's the Euphrates on the other. I'm butchering it, but you get my point. Look up what that flag stands for, and you'll see that the goals of Israel is and never was peace. It was always death, chaos, and destruction. It was always mayhem. These people, they're just horrible people, and they have to be stopped. And you got, you know, like I said, you got liberal Jays in America, and their goal is to open up our borders and let everybody in and create all this chaos, because the more that they can atomize our communities, the safer they are, because then nationalism will be far less likely, you know. And then on the right side, their job is to take over our foreign policy and keep us fighting the Muslims overseas. And if you look what's going on in Mexico, how does Gloria Sheinbaum, a little-hatted J, have the presidency over a completely Christian Catholic country? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like they are the most devout Christians and Catholics, you know, over in Mexico. Like, everywhere you go is like crazy and super religious, just, you know. And you know what? If you look into it, they hate her, and they don't understand how she came to power either. But I will tell you this: for her to get that seat and become the president of Mexico, so many people had to die. Like I think there was like 30 presidential candidates who got straight up whacked. And her party, their motto is hugs, not bullets, or something like that. And what they're doing, which is so terrible, which everybody hates them for, is they are working with the cartel. They're making it illegal to pursue the cartel criminally. They're blocking the other entities of government who want to stop this. You know what I mean? And then you look at people like El Chapo, and his wife was a little-hatted J. So you start to wonder, like, are these people like really just influencing all the worst things and bringing them to America? I mean, then you got the Sackler family. They hooked everybody on fentanyl, and nobody ever went to jail. Nobody. That's the thing. Nobody ever goes to jail. Ever, ever, ever. So it's like they're just so prolifically successful at destroying people. They're destroying us. They're destroying everything, and all for them. And their ultimate goal is just a world where it's mostly just them. And they even have like breeding camps or breeding cities set up, like in Connecticut. They've got places where everybody's on the dole, everybody's on welfare, and guys are having like 11, 12, in some cases, some crazy number like 16 kids per family. And it's all set. A guy just did a documentary about it. Look on YouTube, Google that. You'll figure it out. They're just in every sense of the word. They just use everything to their advantage. Their goal is to breed a massive number of them. They're trying to outpopulate. They're trying to depopulate. They have codes on the food for what is safe for their people to eat, and you should pay attention to that because it'll help you be healthier. If you see a U, that's because the Orthodox Union is saying that it's safe and it's like kosher or whatever. And we're a predominantly Christian nation, so you would think that our religion would take care of us, but it's their religion who gets all the markings on the food. So that just shows you who has the power, and also it's another vector for them to make profit, because in order to get that mark on those bottles, those people are paid to do that job. So and then you think about Argentina, which is Javier Milei, and he has said that he is one of them, and so you're thinking, dang, Christian Argentina, led by one of them, Mexico, led by one of them, America, he said he was one of them. Trump said he was one of them. And he was so happy that his daughter converted. Like as a Christian, like if my daughter converted to Judaism, I would be freaked out. I'd be like, no, because in order to convert to Judaism, you have to deny Christ. Like you have to like pretty much turn your back on your entire religion, say it's all a lie, and now you're subscribing to it's like making a deal with the devil. So like I don't understand, what is to be so proud of, and the boomers in our country, they're really hard to deal with because they grew up and they have to think everything that they've done, everything that they voted for to get to this point was good, solid, and fair and well, and when you start telling them that Israel is evil and you start telling them all these things, they can't help but to see some blame within themselves and resist it. So the boomers are particularly hard to deal with, and that's terrible because they make up a huge block of people who are like diehard voters. So it's a bleak outlook on that front. But I can tell you this. God is on our side. God is on our side because we are honest. We are good people. And if we get our way, we're just going to stop sending money to genocide. I mean, it's just simple. It's like right and wrong. It's super obvious. If we get our way, the world is going to be a better place. There won't be racism. I mean, there will be, but it's not like what they're saying will happen. They're like, oh, the anti-Semites, they're racist, horrible people. But the reality is, we don't want to kill people. We don't want to genocide people. They do. I don't want to genocide anybody. I don't want to see a genocide of the Jays. I don't want to see it. It never really happened. You know what I mean? But I don't want to see that, even if I could. If there was like a button I could push and be like, oh, all of them are gone, I would not push the button. But I do want to re-enfranchise people into our own government. I want to make it so our people have a say again. I want to make it so people like Lindsey Graham don't get in government. I want to make it so people like Dan Bilzerian are the congressman, and Randy Fine has no chance. I want to inform people. I want to use my good speech to destroy all of their bad speech, because none of them could have an argument with me. None of them. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make videos all the time now. I'm going to be the next Nick Fuentes. I'm going to be the person who is always on here telling the truth, making it so you guys have, and you know what I'm going to do different than Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and all these people? I'm going to give solutions, because that's the one thing I don't like about them. They complain and they bitch, but they never give any solutions. And that's the one critique I have for them. So the first solution that I'm going to propose is that all of the anti-Semites, like myself, we have to come up with a way of organizing and meeting each other. Because the worst thing about being an anti-Semite is that you don't feel that you have support, and you don't have the backbone, like the sense of community. You don't have any of that, and that makes anyone scared of joining a movement that they think is going to be unsuccessful, because the people are just scared. So in order to further our causes, we have to create some way of talking to each other, some way of that can't be sanctioned. You can't be blocked. They can't stop it. We have to create some system where we can just be like, hey, this is where we meet at the park over here, and we have barbecues, and we have our kids, and we associate with each other, because community is key to building your movement. The little hat people didn't get this way overnight. They created a fake situation where they said that everybody wants to do bad things to them just because that they put on the little hat. It's not like they're white people who just put on a little hat, right? But anyways, they said that just because they're little hat people, everybody hates them, and they created this lie, and it made them unify. It made them unify. Even though certain groups of them hate certain groups of others, they're still never going to work against each other, because in their minds, they think they understand that if they do that, that will be the end. So we need to be similar, except for our plight is genuine. We are actually under attack. We are actually having our schools infiltrated by these guys. They are actually destroying our culture. They are actually separating us. So we need to create a movement of noticers, a community of noticers, people who notice this stuff is going down, and we need to start meeting up in public. We need to start going to our school board meetings. We need to start going to our political meetings, and we need to start enforcing our will. We need to start questioning our candidates. The next time Kat Cammack sets foot in my county, I'm going to show up and I'm going to question her, because I know what she's doing. She's using her vote that's supposed to represent me to represent Israel. She's been to Israel. She was groomed for the position. She worked for Ted Yoho, and that's what they do. They just groom each other, and they put each other in. And this county was a really easy steal for her, because the boomers over here are really dumb, and they just support her no matter what she does. A war is happening. She's not even saying anything about it. Trump's threatening to genocide them. She's not even saying anything about it. She can't possibly represent goodness, So we need to that's the solution. Us forming a community, us working towards having our interests, and we need to get rid of all of the hate crime enhancements. We need to get rid of all the hate crime laws, all the anti-discrimination laws, because those laws were created to handcuff people so that they couldn't have a way of defending themselves, and that's what you do. If I was a foreign entity trying to destroy a community, the first thing I would do is get into their government and use pictures of one of the government officials with a little boy or some kind of transgression. I would use that so that I could corrupt the whole institution, and I would gradually get more and more people with more transgressions. Then eventually I would have a whole team of people doing what I need them to do for me to be successful, and I would force them to legislate hate crime laws so that nobody could talk bad about me without their business getting sued, without something terrible happening, to them. And the truth is, if you don't like the little hat people like me, and one of them gets in your face or something, and you hit one of them, they're going to give you like a 5-year, hate crime enhancement felony. Whereas if they hit you, well, you just got hit, and they might get a misdemeanor or something like that, but it's not a hate crime because you're an anti-Semite, you're a Nazi, you know what I mean? And who wouldn't want to hit one of them, So what you have to do is you have to create your community. You have to destroy these laws, and you have to create a situation where we all have equal protection under the law. And anybody who argues against equal protection under the law obviously has a biased motive. They obviously don't want equality. It was never about equality. The diversity, equity, and inclusion was never about equality. It was always about control, and it was always about forcing companies to do what they want them to do. Otherwise, they would be punished with a low score. Everything these guys do is a scam. Everything they do is a scam. Everything. Anyways, I don't want to sound like a broken record. Thank you for listening to this video, and I want to end this video with a prayer, and because that's what we need. We need to pray, and we need to work towards unity amongst ourselves, and we need to also remember that this isn't hate. This is defense. You're defending yourself, and you're not doing anything illegal. You're just talking about a group of people who are doing something bad. There's nothing wrong with that. And they're going to call you an anti-Semite. They're going to say all kinds of terrible things. They're going to try to mess with you. And that's okay. That's okay. Because that means you're doing something right with your life. If you're not getting messed with, you're not doing something right. So, anyways. Dear Lord Creator, thank you for everything we have and the love we have for our people. Please give us the strength and the wisdom to know what is right and to combat what is wrong. Please help us to resist evil in all of its forms. Please help us to think of new and creative ways to combat the demons that attempt to destroy us. And please give our adversaries a conscience and let them understand that they are doing something that is evil and they should stop. And please give everybody the sight so that they too can notice what you have helped me to notice. Please give people divine discernment so that they can know what is right and what is wrong. Please help our older population get away from their news sources that force them to be divisive and unable to unify. And Lord, please just give us our unity back. Give us our oneness back that we once had. Please, 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 Lord. And if you can't do that, give us the ability to endure. Give us the patience to remain calm even when things get rough and hectic. And please give us your continued love. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much, Lord. In your honor, we pray. Amen.